Magandang gabi po mga katipon sa Pilipinas. Ito po ang ating katipunan. Muling sumasa inyo mga tagapakinig upang magbigay ng mahalagang impormasyon, magbigay liwanag at higit sa lahat makinig sa inyong mga daing at kuro-kuro hinggil sa mga problemang patuloy na nagpapahirap sa ating kalagayan at kabuhayan. Sa susunod na 2 oras, sisikapin po namin ipaliwanag ang iba-ibang bahagi ng ating ekonomiya at ng mga mabibigat pang local and international issues na may malaking epekto sa ating buhay at kinabukasan. Ito po ang inyong katipon na si Butch Valdes, kasama ating co-host na si Valdes, at mga iba pang kasama natin, si Vera Chivido ng Save the Nation Movement at ang Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino at the Philippine LaRouche Society. Narito kami lahat na nag-aanyaya sa inyo na makibahagi sa ating talakayan sa pagsusuri ng mga kasalukuyang problema at paghahanap ng kaukulang solusyon. Magandang gabi po. Nandito na naman tayo. Ang mga nagbabadyang balita na napaka-importante ay ang kasalukuyang nangyayaring gera sa Eastern Europe kasama ang Amerika at Ukraine, saka NATO, yung mga European countries, at laban ng Russia, ng presidente ng Russia na si Vladimir Putin. No? Yan po ay tatalakayin natin ngayon because right now this is one of the most important issue that's confronting not just Filipinos but all of mankind. Ang pangalawang hindi masyadong importante, itong nagdarating na eleksyon natin na medyo nakakalungkot dahil habang nakikita natin itong darating na kahirapan at patuloy na kahirapan na dinadanas ng ating mga mamamayan, ito pa pumapatong ang napakabigat na geopolitical issue, no? Na maybe overnight can include China and Taiwan, and of course our country will be involved. Tapos itong mga kandidato natin, alam natin na wala silang may isasagot dito at wala silang kaalaman tungkol dito, no? Paano nila tayong magagawa ng paraan para makaiwas dito sa napakabigat na suliranin na haharapin natin. Itos, ano pa palagay mo ang nangyayari ngayon sa Europa? Propaganda war ba to or whatever? Titos? Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, nakamute ako. Definitely may military operation na isinasagawa ngayon dyan sa Ukraine, starting with the eastern provinces ng Ukraine na pumasok dito yung Russian forces. tila hindi parang totoong gera ang nangyayari ngayon dahil parang yung mga nakikita natin sa mainstream media ay parang iba-iba eh. Hindi siya parang karaniwang gera na we're used to seeing. Parang walang mga footage na sumasabog talaga, walang barilan, walang gano'n. Pero alam po natin may nangyayaring gano'n doon. So it's a strange event that is happening now in Russia, and definitely ang nakakapagtaka bakit hindi tumutulong tong mga ibang bansa that are part of NATO na parang nagbe-beg itong si Zelensky na tulungan siya pero wala pa rin nangyayari. So it is strange, and we discussed last week ano yung history ng Ukraine, a brief history, the modern history of Ukraine, starting with the 2014 revolution, so to speak, na kung saan yung bagong presidente nila, bagong leadership, inilagay doon ng mga tinatawag natin mga deep state, tulad nila backed up by Clinton, Obama, and George Soros. Surprising, not surprising, pero alam po natin si Soros, matagal na nating tinatalakay dito sa programa natin. Alam natin si Soros is an expert at regime change. Pag ayaw nila yung direksyon ng isang bansa, o kung if they exhibit sovereign republic tendencies, pinapalitan po nila using tactics like the color revolution. Marami na pong experience yan si Soros since 86 dito lang sa Pilipinas na magpalit ng isang leader. Ginagamit yung mga local politicians, local non-governmental organizations, yung mga komunista, mga militar, mga pare, mahilig sila pong gumamit ng ganyan. Here's the other thing also. There is a direct connection to what's happening now dito sa Pilipinas, Chairman. Because itong of course you will comment on what's happening in Ukraine, but I wanted to make that connection. Ang isa sa alam na po natin na involved dyan sa regime change na nangyari ng 2014 ay isang organization under George Soros na tinatawag na National Endowment for Democracy. Itong National Endowment for Democracy, alam na po natin yan, matagal na. It's like a CIA front group that is used to funnel funds, kunwari, to democratize or to make a country democratic. Okay, National Endowment for Democracy, para siyang foundation. Okay, now
funded by government yan ng US. Nasa budget yan ng US.
Right, but that is a Soros-funded organization. That is a Soros under US aid and under these guys. So they also are one of the principal owners of Rappler.
Rappler.
Yes. So they are the funders, direct funders of Rappler. Itong nakalimutan ko na yung pangalan pero lumabas na to sa mga, remember yung libel case ni Rappler? And then isinawalat nila Bobby Tiglao and others about who is behind these guys. Bakit hindi siya 100% owned by Filipinos? Right? And National Endowment for Democracy is one of those people. Pierre Omidyar, who is a Soros surrogate. Okay? He is part of the CIA deep state guys that use media to influence the public. Okay? So these are the deep state guys. So may konektado yan. They replaced a sitting leadership dyan sa Ukraine, put in yung mga tao nila, and directly involved yan si Soros and the National Endowment for Democracy with Victoria Nuland ng US State Department. And right now, ang connection natin dito, they are direct influence. They are one of the, it was found out they were one of the owners of Rappler in the investigation on the libel cases.
Yeah. Gusto ko lang idagdag ito, no? Para maintindihan din ng ating mga nakikinig. Yung 2014, nagkaroon ng revolusyon kuno sa Ukraine. Yung si Victoria Nuland, siya yung CIA assigned dyan sa pagmamaniobra at pagpapatalsik ng kanilang presidente ng Ukraine noon, dahil ang Ukraine saka yung presidente ng Ukraine ay malapit kay Vladimir Putin, malapit siya sa Russia. Now, etong si Victoria Nuland, nung nagkaroon ng parang revolusyon, kung tignan nyo lang siguro, check nyo lang siguro sa YouTube, baka andyan pa, yung kanilang mga sinusunog na mga building, tapos meron mga nakakulong na mga tao sa loob ng isang building, sinunog nila yung buong building para mamatay lahat yung nandun sa loob. Ito yung mga taong nag-take over ng Ukraine noong 2014. At yung presidente nila, dahil papatayin na, nakatakas at tumakbo papuntang Russia. No? Yan ang nangyari dito sa Ukraine. Buhat noong panahon na yon, ang naging amo ng mga politiko, si President Poroshenko ng Ukraine, naging amo nila ang Amerikano. At ang ginawa naman nila Obama noon, inumpisahan ang paglagay ng mga armas dito sa boundary ng Ukraine tsaka Russia. At galit na galit dito si Putin at dito sa mga nakaraang panahon, pinaghandaan niya at unti-unti din siyang nag-build up ng kanyang mga militar sa boundary ng Ukraine tsaka ng Russia. Itong recent move, bakit na natuloy ng gera si Putin? Kasi itong si Zelensky na bata ng mga Kano sa kanang European, gusto niyang sumali sa NATO. Okay, NATO, ano yung NATO? That is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Isa siyang agreement ng mga bansa sa Europa na agreement hindi lang sa ekonomiya, pero definitely sa military and security considerations. Meron silang Artikulo 5 diyan sa kanilang agreement na sinasabi pag sino man ang manggera sa isa sa kanila, miyembro ng NATO, buong NATO ay committed to make war against that enemy. No? Ito, alam ito ni President Putin. Kanya, sinasabi niya kay Zelensky at sa Ukraine, huwag kang sasama dyan sa NATO dahil delikado. No? Ilalagay mo ang sitwasyon ng Russia na maging kalaban ng buong NATO. No? Nagkaroon ng balikan. Ang sabi ng Amerika, dapat karapatan ng isang bansa sumali sa NATO kung yun ang gusto niya. No? dahil inuudyukan nila yung NATO. Ang sabi naman ni Putin, hindi ako papayag kasi ang mangyayari dyan, lalagyan nyo ng armas yan dito sa aking border at itututok nyo lahat yan sa amin. At siyempre, nandito na sa bakuran mo, hindi ka makakapayag na hostile o enemy nandiyan sa bakuran mo, nakatutok yung kanyang mga missiles sa iyo. So bago pa nangyari yan, nung hindi nagkaayusan sa usapan, pumasok na si Vladimir Putin para mapigilan itong pinipilit ng Amerikano at NATO sa Ukraine. Ang Ukraine, ginagawa nilang tuta, utusan, inuudyukan nila yung Ukraine. Sige, labanan mo si Putin. No? Ngayon, ang napakadaling matigil yung gera dyan, kung sasabihin lang ng Ukraine, dahil Ukraine na mag-isa walang kalaban-laban sa Russia. Ang sasabihin lang ng Ukraine, okay, we will declare neutrality, we will be neutral, and we will not be asking for membership in NATO anymore. Tigil agad yung gera at si Putin babalik na sa Russia. Hindi ganyan ang nangyayari dahil pinipigilan ng kano na gawin na yan ng Ukraine. Gusto ng kano, tuloy-tuloy nilang udyukan si Putin para mag-take effect yung mga economic sanctions na gusto nilang ipataw sa Russia at gutumin yung mga Russian people, mag-revolution sila para tanggalin si Putin. Ganyan ang gawa ng mga isip na mga yan. Now, kano lang ba ang gumagalaw dito? Hindi po. Ang nakikita lang natin yung kano. Pero itong buong grupong ito, sa NATO, tsaka dyan sa Amerikano, tsaka sa mga British, yan ang tinatawag natin deep state. Ito yung mga taong ang kanilang layunin magkaroon ng one world government. At ang one world government, ang ibig sabihin, sila lang ang mamumuno sa buong mundo. At yung mga konseptong sovereignty, kasarinlan ng isang bansa ay hindi prinsipyong tatanggapin ng one world government. Ngayon, itong mga nagtutulak ng one world government, gusto sabihin sila lang ang mamumuno sa buong mundo, ang pinakakalaban nila ay ang Russia tsaka China. Dahil itong mga bansang ito, unang-una may kakayanan sa ekonomiya, pangalawa may kakayanan sa militar, at pangatlo, napakadami nila na populasyon na maninindigan para sa kanilang kasarinlan for their own sovereignty. The other one that is somewhat allied to Russia is India. Most of the arms of India come from Russia. Now, India is 1.2 billion people. China is 1.4 billion people. Russia is about 300 plus, or 400 billion people. When you add up those populations together, no, you will pretty much count them to be almost 1/2 of the world's population. And this is a big problem for the one world government advocates. Kaya gusto nilang hinain yung mga yan, o kung pwede, gumawa silang mga revolusyon sa mga bansang yan. Kanya eto na naman si George Soros, sumisingit na naman dito at gumagawa ng gulo sa loob ng Russia. Pinopondahan niya yung mga oposisyon at para mag-rally sa Russia, no? Ang Amerika naman bigay ng mga armas. But hindi pagirahin ng Amerika yung Russia. Eh doon sila delikado kasi alam nila pag nagkaroon ng gera, malawakang gera na nuclear, no? Walang matitira. Magkakanda-ubusan yan. At kung sino man ang maiwan, no, hindi tatagal, mamamatay na rin sila. Because this nuclear world conflict now, using nuclear bombs, is a civilizational war. It will mean the end of present civilization. America knows that, Russia knows that, China knows that, and they're hoping that we never reach that point. But definitely, America and the British and the other deep state people are provoking the situation to reach that level. Yun ang basic background dito na sinasabi ni Itos, no? Pag sinabi natin deep state, mas marami pang ibang issue na ginagawa itong si Putin at saka si Xi Jinping. Habang gumagawa sila ng hakbang para labanan ang mga maduduming pamamaraan ng mga deep state. Isa dito yung tinatawag na bioweapons manufacturing. Itos, andyan ka pa ba?
Yes.
Yeah. What is it about the bioweapons in Ukraine? These are all documented, di ba?
Yes, in 2012 or even around that year, around that time, si Putin was already calling for the dismantling of what he called bioweapons factories in Ukraine. According to him, nagtatayo, funded by the Pentagon, which is CIA, sabi po ni Putin na parang tanggalin nyo dapat yan kasi delikado yan sa amin. So kung hindi armas lang at nuclear missiles, nagpapatayo sila ng mga bioweapons factory na napakadelikado. In earlier...
Ano yung ibig sabihin itos ng bioweapons? Ano weapon yan?
Mga virus.
Okay.
Magawa
sila ng virus na isasabog nila sa mga kanila, di ba?
Yes. So that is bioweapons. And according to some people around Putin also, there are about 18 bioweapons plants all over Ukraine. Now, 18. Yun. So yun ang sinasabi nila, yan ang unang titirahin ni Putin. Kasi alam niya, napakadelikado yan. Kasi po ang bioweapon, hindi naman nuclear missile yan eh. Pwedeng i-release yan sa isang population, biglang mamamatay lahat ng tao in that population. Tapos kakalat at kakalat yan. Eh ang pinakamagaling yan and funded there by the US deep state. Lahat kasi ng bansa may sariling deep state. They're traitors to their own country. Gusto nila one world government. Dito rin sa Pilipinas, maraming nag-aadvokasya na one world government dapat tayo. So, lahat ng
Ito
yes.
yung COVID, yan ang isang ehemplo sa bioweapon.
Yes, correct. Because lumalabas nga ngayon with all the data coming out now, lalo na recently yung findings ng Pfizer na sinubukan nilang itago pero yung US Supreme Court pinilit na buksan yung mga datos nila. 400 pages yata of data on adverse effects. It's much worse than even the best estimates of doctors. So alam po ng Pfizer to na marami silang adverse effects na nangyari with the vaccines sa US. So lumabas nga ngayon. So itong COVID, yung C19 nga, COVID-19 na tinatawag. Inilabas po yan, sabi nga nila, conceptualized in Britain, in the UK, funded by the Americans and released dun sa Wuhan sa China. Pero ngayon lumalabas nga, sino ba nagfa-fund nitong mga biolabs around the world? 'Di ba? Yun ang lumalabas ngayon eh. At sabi nila ng mga taong close to Putin, yan ang unang-unang titirahin ni Putin kasi yun daw ang delikado.
In other words, nung pumasok siya sa Ukraine, isa ito sa mga pinasabog ng mga Russian na military.
Right. Very precision strikes.
Yan mga bioweapons factories na yan.
Tsaka hindi pinapalabas sa mainstream, syempre. Hindi lalabas sa mainstream news yan ng mga CNN at dito wala tayong narinig na ganyan. Pero pag nakita po ang mapa, kung nagmapa tayo, i-plot natin yung alleged bioweapons factories around Ukraine. Tapos i-superimpose mo yung kung saan sumabog yung mga buildings, it's in the same areas of those bioweapons labs na napaka-precise ng ginamit ni Putin. Kumbaga, hindi siya indiscriminately bombing everything. So, it's and sabi nga ni Putin, hindi to invasion, it is a military operation. Yan ang sinasabi niya. Pero itong mga Ukraine, yung mga, syempre, yung nawawalan ng yung mga funders nito, yung deep state, nakikita mo kasi parang silang nagpapanik. Si Hillary Clinton, panic na panic. Gusto niyang i-assassinate si Putin. Si George Soros, yung kanyang sponsor, sinasabi, kailangan yung world has to go against Putin. Lahat tayo, kalabanin natin si Putin. Lahat sila nagsasabi, nag-iingay na sila. Bakit ginagawa ni Putin to? Kailangan tigil natin si Putin. Si Putin masamang tao. Diba? Bakit sila yung pinakamaingay? Ika nga sabi nila, Chairman, diba? Those who are the loudest have the most to lose.
Yeah. Saka, alam mo yan, sa akin, itong Western media, kung saan pumapanig ang CNN, Fox News, NBC, kung saan sila pumapanig, yun ang kalaban natin. No? Kasi dapat, over the years, natuto na tayo na itong mga mainstream media to, mga propagandists ito, they're all over the world and they influence the thinking of many populations. No? Lalong-lalo na yung mga hindi pa nakakaalam. Kanya, pag sinabi mong masama si Putin, pumapasok na sa kanilang isipin. Yun nga kasi napanood niya yung CNN, napanood niya yung Fox News, at sinabi din itong isang leader ng isang bansa at ganyan-ganyan. No? Yun ang mapakita nilang salita. Pero Meron ka na bang narinig na salita galing kay Xi Jinping na galit siya kay Putin? Hindi. Kay Modi ng India, wala. At mga iba pang mga bansa, hindi sila nagsasalita laban kay Putin. No? Dahil alam nila na si Putin gumagawa ng paraan para mahinto itong tinatawag nilang deep state, itong one world government ng mga tao. Hindi ito basta-basta Amerikano. Mga tao ito na nandyan sa Amerika, pero hindi yung lahat ng Amerikano ganyan. No? Si Donald Trump, hindi siya kasama dyan sa deep state na yan. No? Kanya tinanggal si Donald Trump. Dinaya ng Smartmatic at ginawa lahat ng paraan para matanggal. No? Itong deep state na yan ang one world government na gustong mamuno sa buong mundo dahil nakikita nila babagsak na yung sistemang pinansyal na ginawa nila at magkakaroon ng malaking pagpabagsak ng ekonomiya ng mundo. Magiging laganap ang gutom, laganap ang sakit, kumukolapso ang mga buong bansa sa kahirapan. Nakikita nila yan. Kanya sabi nila, bago dumating dyan, kailangan sila na yung namumuno. This is what is happening with the enemies of civilization now. No? Yan po. At siguro nakikita nyo, medyo kampi tayo dito sa ginagawa ni Putin. Ako, talagang naniniwala na si Putin walang intensyon na mamuno sa buong mundo. Wala siya yung mga CIA na sisira ng mga rehimen. Hindi siya gagawa ng bioweapons na para makagawa siya ng COVID-19 para maraming kasakit. Ang gumagawa nito yung mga kalaban ni Putin. Kanya sino man yung kalaban ni Putin, kalaban din dapat natin. Sino ang kalaban ni Xi Jinping? Kalaban din natin. Kasi sila, naninindigan sila sa kasarinlan, sovereignty of nation states. Ang lahat ng bansa ay may prinsipyong kasarinlan. Every country is a sovereign nation state and you must respect their sovereignty, not to take over their countries, not to take over their resources, no? And not to kill their populations. But they are agreeable to working together with other sovereign nation states for the upliftment of the quality of life of their populations, of their citizenry. Ganyan po yung prinsipyo nitong mga ito. Yung mga bayaran ng CIA, yung mga bayaran katulad ng Rappler at yung mga tao dyan sa media, no, na gumagawa ng mga storya, may kita mo either mababaw sila o they're just prostitutes. Binebenta lang nila ang sarili nila para silang jukebox. Lagyan mo ng pera, kakanta sila kung anong gusto mong kanta. No? Marami pong ganyan ngayon. Maski na napakataas nila sa gobyerno, napakataas nila sa media o saan man, marami pong ganyan ang kalaban natin. Kaya kinakailangan ang panglaban natin ay ang katotohanan. Ang katotohanan hindi madaling makita dahil ginagawa nila lahat ng paraan to obfuscate para maging malabo ang paningin ng tao at hindi makita yung katotohanan. Pero kung talagang pipilitin natin at suriin natin ng mabuti, we will discover the truth. We will discover the fundamental issues. At hindi tayo nadadala dito sa mga superficial issues na linalabas ng mainstream media. Di ba, Dos?
Right. Definitely. Tama yung sinabi mo, Chairman. Kung anong lumabas sa mainstream media, siguro 95% sure na opposite yung totoo. Yung kabaliktaran ay siyang totoo. Kasi lalo na ngayon po, parang lumalabas lahat ng news item nila. The way it works dito sa Pilipinas is nagsusubscribe lang sila po sa mga news service na galing sa London or the US. Associated Press, Reuters, lahat ng kumpanyang yan. That is their distribution arm of the propaganda. So lahat ng foreign news nila, ililista lang nila, sasabihin lang ng news anchor, sasabihin lang, babasahin lang nila, papalabas nila ng video, pero hindi nanggagaling po sa mga news production dito. Kinukuha lang nila at nilalabas nila. Wala silang pakialam kung totoo yan o hindi. So parang nagiging propaganda arm lang sila ng deep state. And if we know, kita po natin the last 2 years, yung CNN po, wala nang naniniwala dun sa CNN sa US. Yung ratings po nila bumagsak ng 99.something%. 95.something% since January of 2022. Wala na pong naniniwala sa CNN. Pinagtatawanan na lang nila. At naparesign pa yung kanilang bossing, yung managing director ng CNN. Okay? So, lahat yan po, kailangan suriin po natin. Ngayon, we have a chance because nandito tayo sa internet, nakikita po natin, medyo tayo pwede mag-research ng sarili. The other thing I wanted to comment on also, sabi po ni Chairman na nakikita natin kung anong gustong mangyari ni Putin. At hindi po yon, ang gusto mangyari ni Putin ay hindi po na isakop yung buong mundo. Tulad ng sinasabi sa CNN at MSNBC at yung mga kinaka-copy-paste ng Inquirer, Rappler, tsaka iba pa. ABS-CBN, GMA News, lahat. Copy-paste lang naman sila. Alright? So, hindi po yun ang intensyon ni Putin. And to parang ika nga, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Diba? So, kung alam po natin, si Putin, marami na siyang sinasabi sa speeches niya na pinapalabas sa mundo. Yung sinasabi niya po, against siya sa one world government. Ang sinasabi niya, against siya sa mga Nazi. Against siya sa mga, sabi nga niya, yung leadership ng US dati, at the time of Obama and sila Hillary, sabi niya, yung US elites do not worship God. Iba po yung wino-worship nila. Okay, pero hindi si God ang wino-worship nila. Sinasabi niya 'yon. Dati pa niya sinasabi 'yon. Pero kaya pinapalabas na demonyo itong si Putin. Sinisiraan po nila. Ilang taon na nila sinisiraan. At Marami pong eksperto online sa Facebook. Kunwari, alam nila pinagagawa. Nag-a-analyze sila ng mga movement ni Putin. Nag-a-analyze sila ng mga NATO. But if you do not see what is actually going on, you don't realize what he's fighting against and what he said he wanted to fight against. Yung mga analysis nyo, walang bisa yung mga analysis ng mga quote-unquote eksperto dyan online. Kaya
nakakatuwa yung mga ibang eksperto daw, no? Kaya sabi nila, ang pinaka-eksperto nila, yung isang kamag-anak nila nagtatrabaho daw sa US Armed Forces at ang sabi sa kanila, napakagaling ng mga armas ng Amerikano at tatalunin daw lahat ng Inchik tsaka ng
Ruso.
Yun na ang kanilang katotohanan. No? It's really stupid. No?
Very babaw. Masyado mababaw.
That is not what you should talk about right now. No?
Right.
Because the fact of the matter is there are something like 30,000 nuclear warheads, no, divided among countries. Most of that is divided only among 3 major countries: US, Russia, and China. No? The rest have less, but it doesn't take all that much to be able to annihilate a population. Each nuclear warhead has the power of 200 times the bomb that they used in Hiroshima. One nuclear warhead now is 200 times the bomb that they used in Hiroshima. And there are 30,000 nuclear warheads divided among these countries. Wala nang pag-uusapan pa. Walang susurvive dito. No? Maski gaano ka kalalim mag-ukay sa lupa, no? Para magtago, yun ang magiging libingan mo. No? This is the situation why we have to avoid by all different means that we can do, we have to avoid war. No? We have to promote peace. And there can be statements like that. We can make moves towards peace. We do not have to side between Putin and Biden or Xi Jinping versus Biden. No, it's not a matter of taking sides. It's a matter of bringing up our capability, the human being in us. No? The human being that wishes good for every fellow human beings. Those that are concerned about the general welfare and the achievement of the common good. Yan po ang mga prinsipyong kailangan gamitin natin. Ngayon na napaka-importante. Hindi importante ang manalo ka sa isang debate na mas magaling ang sandata ng Amerikano kaysa sa Ruso. That is stupid. But there are people like that. You will be surprised with people who consider themselves intelligent, intellectuals, base their opinions on such issues. Mas malaki yung bomba ng Amerikano kaysa sa China. Meron silang 12 aircraft carrier. Ang China, 2 lang ang aircraft carrier. Kanya dapat kampihan natin ang Amerikano. It is stupid. Yun ang dapat natin saksihan at dapat nating pag-isipan ng mabuti. Yung isang gusto kong buti binuksan mo kanina, Itos, etong sa Rappler at ang kanilang koneksyon kay Soros at Omidyar na ang connection din nila sa Smartmatic. Ngayon, ang connection din nila sa Comelec. Marahil, dahil binigyan ng Comelec si Rappler ng isang parangal na siya ang may hawak, pwede siyang umawak ng mga datos ng Comelec. Marahil, ang may-ari ng Comelec ngayon ay si George Soros, Omidyar, Smartmatic at Rappler. Magiging bossing ng mga tiga-Comelec siguro si Maria Ressa. Bakit ba tayo mga Pilipino napakatanga natin? Harap-harapan na tayong dadayain, harap-harapan na tayong dinaya, at pareho pa rin ang gagawin natin ngayon. Higit pa dito sa ginawa nila noon, ngayon lantaran ang gagawin nila na isasama nila sa may hawak ng mga datos ang isang organisasyon na konektado sa mga mandurugas at mga magnanakaw ng mga eleksyon na si George Soros. Ito ay hindi lang paratang natin. Maski na nangyari na sa atin ilang beses ito. Buhat nung kay Noynoy, tapos nung senatorial elections after Noynoy, tapos the presidential elections in 2016, tapos the midterm elections ng 2019. Every time, Comelec and Smartmatic did their thing. And every time, the administration renewed the contract of this Smartmatic. Are we that stupid people? Are we being run by stupid government officials? This Smartmatic can change practically any government. And we know that. Because in November 2020, elections in the United States of America, the seat of democracy, they cheated a sitting president. Nakaupo siyang presidente, dinaya pa rin nila. At pinakita nila sa buong mundo na pag kami ang nagpapatakbo, wag na kayong mag-complain dyan. Dahil ang mangyayari ay ang gusto nila, hindi ang gusto ng taong bayan. This is the audacity of these people. Lantaran, harap-harapan. Sinasabi nila, huwag ka nang makialam, taong bayan. Kami na ang magmamando dito kung sino ang mamumuno ng Pilipinas. Aangal ka o etong pera. Aangal ka o, Hoy, Maria Reza, bigyan mo nga ng 10 milyon yon. I don't understand. With what is happening, why we, the people, are so quiet about it and stupidly participating in the entertainment value of this whole electoral campaign going on. Sarsuela, yan na lang ang value nitong election na ito. Na makita mong pasayaw-sayaw yung mga ibang kandidato dyan. At makita mong magsalita, maski na walang laman. Alam naman natin na pag silang umupo, walang mangyayari sa buhay natin, lalong sasama pa. Pero papayagan pa rin natin na gawin tayong tanga. Why have we allowed this to happen to us? In this recent COVID-19 fiasco, why have we allowed that these vaccinations be mandated? There are supposed to be, at least from the studies that we have seen, in 2021, 800,000 Filipinos died when they didn't have to die. They died because of the effects of inoculation. They are the number of deaths that are over the usual number of deaths. And the only culprit you can point to as the reason for these additional deaths are the vaccinations mandated by governments. This is genocide. What motivates leaders in government to push what they, I am sure, clearly see to be genocidal? Ano yung conscience nila? Ano yung nagtutulak sa kanilang, sige, patayin mo, sobra-sobra naman ng mga Pilipino eh. Ano yung motivasyon nila? Pera? Milyon-milyon na pera para makapag-utos ka na 800,000 ang mamatay. Tapos di pa natin alam, maybe another 800,000 ang may kapansanan. Di pa natin alam, maybe another 800,000 will die because of the effects of the immune deficiency. the effects of the vaccination. Anong konsyensya ng isang tao o mga grupong tao na inuunahan na yan ni Duque, Secretary Duque? Anong konsyensya mo? Siguro yung mga taong kaparis mo, Secretary Duque. Ikaw yung itinutukoy nilang pag napunta sa impyerno, ang lugar mo doon sa pinakamainit na lugar sa impyerno at tinatapak-tapakan ka ng mga milyon-milyon demonyo. Lahat ng pinatay mong Pilipino, hindi ka pakapakawala. Yan ang hinihingi nila sa Diyos na wag kang papapasukin. Sa langit. Yan ang nakakalungkot ngayon. Kung alam natin, ito ang mga nangyayari sa ating lipunan. Kung alam natin na itong mga nagpapanggap na leader ng ating bansa, ng mga presidente, kung alam natin na wala nang haharapin na magandang kinabukasan dahil magkukulang na sa pagkain, tataas na ang bilihin, tataas ang gasolina, dadami ang mga magnanakaw. At yun ang nakikita natin. Darating pa yung mga ibang COVID at lolokohin na naman tayo nitong mga Duque na ito o at yung kanyang mga magpapalit sa kanya. Wala na ba tayong maaasahan? Maaasahan na institusyon na magsalba sa ating bansa, magsalba sa mga buhay ng mamamayang Pilipino at protektahan ang mga kababayan natin. Wala na bang institusyon? Ako'y nananawagan sa ating sandatahan, the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Kayong mga patriotiko na sumumpa to defend the sovereignty of our country. Sumumpa kayo na protektahan ang mga mamamayang Pilipino. Sumumpa kayo na itataya niyo yung buhay para sa amin. Gumawa kayo ng paraan. Isalba niyo ang ating bayan. Bigyan niyo ng pag-asa at magkaroon ng magandang kinabukasan yung mga darating na henerasyon. Kaming mga senior citizen ay wala nang aasahan na maganda pang buhay. Ngunit, maski na wala na kaming aasahan at kaya pa namin magsalita at magbigay ng ganitong pahayag sa Facebook at sa YouTube, baka may magising sa ating panawagan na mga bayaning militar na manindigan para sa mamamayang Pilipino. Baka naman. At ako'y humingi ng tulong sa lahat ng ating mga nakikinig ngayon. Help me to wake up the armed forces of the Philippines. They, right now, are our only saving factor because they were formed on the highest ideas of love of country and love for our people. We cannot rely anymore on any other institutions. Our Catholic hierarchy has betrayed the Filipino people. They can claim that not all of them are like that, like these bishops and priests. But they are all at fault because of their silence. Of allowing these bishops and priests to use the pulpit, the church, for their political goals. These are not Christians. They are hardly Catholics. These Catholic bishops and priests are worse than the Iglesia ni Cristo or the, what's this? Yung kay El Shaddai.
Jesus is Lord.
They are worse than this. No? I salute all the others, like the Muslims, no? Because they are quiet when it comes to these things. They know their place. They do not campaign, but they will issue who they want to be voted later on. That's all. But these bishops and priests and nuns, what they're doing is sacrilegious. Grabe. I am so ashamed. I will stay a Christian and a Catholic. But I am so ashamed that the members of our Catholic hierarchy have decided to sell their souls to Satan. So let's join in our call for the only institution that we as a people had organized, the only institution that has been educated on the basis of sublime ideas. Maybe it is still deep in their hearts that they are the protectors of the Filipino people. And because of this, they have to intervene and do their duty to save our nation. Yan po ang gusto kong sabihin at inarapat ko sanang maisiwala kasi po kung minsan di mo na mapigilan. Kinakailangan sabihin natin ito. At sana po may makinig sa atin. Yaitos?
Right. Tama. With everything po na nangyayari around the world, and it seems the world is in a very precarious situation more than ever before, because obviously po ang nangyayari po sa mundo ngayon, I think countries are pushing back. The sovereign peoples are pushing back around the world against this effort to suppress any sort of sovereign act by the peoples to save their nations. And sabi nga ni Chairman, this parang imagine nagiging issue pa, exclusive contract of COMELEC with Rappler is such a big issue because magiging fact checker and exclusive distributor ng election news itong si Rappler. So parang obviously may favoritism and but you will not see the bigger picture kung di po natin alam, and we listen to our show saying that this collusion of these organizations to determine the next president of our country, the next leadership, the next policies that move forward. Bumalik na nga tayo dito sa President Duterte at kung bakit hindi po niya inayos tong COMELEC and Smartmatic. Begs the question, bakit ba parang tila pinabayaan na lang ni President Duterte itong Smartmatic and COMELEC to continue? And now, nandito na naman sila. And they seem to be in control nga, sabi ni Chairman about the electoral process. You're taking away the very essence of our republic, of our participation in our political process. Yes, Chairman.
It does. Si Duterte, pinakawalan niya si Andy Bautista, no? So may mga sasampang kaso na yung mga yan sa kanya. Pinakita na yung nag-witness pa nga yung asawa niya na tumatanggap siya dito sa Smartmatic at kung ano man. Bakit pinakawalan ni Duterte? Yan ang unang question. Pangalawang question, bakit ba nag-anunsyo si Duterte na hindi na niya i-renew ang contract ng Smartmatic tapos renew niya? 2 beses pa niyang na-renew. Ano ba to? Lokohan na lang. Oh. Tapos, pero yun, para siguro makalimutan ng tao yung mga Rappler na yan, nag-aanunsyo siya na kinakailangan daw pasukan natin itong nuclear energy development program. Well, of course, better late than never. Pero Mr. President, alam mo naman, no, na hindi yan papayagan ng mga kaibigan mong oligarko. Alam mo naman na yan si Cusi, bata nila Abuayti sa Tramon Angla. At kung meron magkakaroon ng nuclear plants dito, sila pa rin ang may mag-aari, mga oligarko. Mr. President, papaalala ko lang sa inyo na sa buong mag-aanim na taon nagpresidente ka, ni isang sentimo hindi mo na ipababa ang singil sa kuryente. Not a single centavo. Were you able to bring it down? Despite all the difficulties the Filipino people and families were suffering, despite all the clamor that we in KDP, together with many other organizations, have asked you to intervene in the public utility sector to save lives. Nagbingi-bingihan ka, maski na isang sentimo, hindi mo nabawasan ang singil sa kuryente at sa tubig. Ang galing. Tapos, 3 months before he leaves, he will sign the nuclear energy development paper. My goodness. So what, Mr. President? So that your popularity rating will go up again before the end of your term? Whether it goes up or down, we don't really give a shit. We're facing a much greater crisis than just you, Mr. President. We need a leader, not a president. A leader who has the intellectual competence and the moral courage to do what is right for the Filipino people and our country. Meron po. Sana po napapakinggan niya tayo. Ayaw kong banggitin masyado palagi ang kanyang pangalan dahil baka kala ng tao nangangampanya ako. Nandiyan po sila. Galit na galit din sila sa sitwasyon. Nakikita nila yung depopulation. Nakikita nila yung genocide. Ngayon nakikita nila yung na ang pinaka-corrupt na ahensya ng gobyerno. Hindi lang sa pera, kundi sa pagsisira ng soberenya ng ating bansa. Itong COMELEC. Mismong isang commissioner bago siya umalis, isiniwalat niya na lahat sila dyan sa COMELEC ay corrupt. Yun ang siniwalat ng isang commissioner. Pero masaya siya dahil kumakampi siya sa isang kandidato na tutulungan ni George Soros sa pagdaya sa Smartmatic. Harap-harapan na po ito. Para tayong dinuduraan sa muka at wala tayong sinasabi. Tinasampal-sampal tayo sa muka, inaapak-apakan, tinatawanan, pero hindi pa rin tayo lumalaban. What does it take for people to realize that what we need right now is a revolution? First and foremost, a revolution of the mind. We must know what we are fighting for. We must know that we are fighting for ideas. We are not fighting to unseat a president. We are not fighting out of hate. We are fighting out of love for our country and our people. That is the difference. And that is what true revolutions are made up of. Anything that has to do with changing political leaders from one opposition to the next is not a real revolution. That is a manipulated revolution. But when you fight for the lives of your children, when you fight for the future of your country, when you fight for the ideas coming from sovereign individuals, then it is because you love your country. You are true patriots. That is the only time that you will justify a revolution. The question is, have we lost? Have we as a people lost that motivation? Tayo mga mamamayang Pilipino, kinalimutan na ba natin yung mga ganitong pag-iisip? At naging ano na lang tayo? Naging bayaran na parang mga prostitutes, binebenta yung sarili, binebenta ang boto, binebenta ang prinsipyo. Yan na ba ang bagong Pilipino? Lumaban po tayo. Pakita natin. Maski pa paano, ngayon, hindi po natin alam kung paano sisiklab ito. Pero magmanman po kayo. At makikita niyo po, maraming sasama sa inyo. Pero gisingin natin ang sandatahang Pilipino. Kailangan po natin sila para gawin mapayapa ang ating revolusyon. Tos?
Yeah, I wanted to ask lang, Chairman, no? Itong recent inflation, parang grabe yung pagtaas. Of course, they were blaming it on Putin, no? Lahat kasalanan ni Putin. Although the inflation has been happening for a long time, parang kinokontrol lang nila. And it seems that since this COVID thing, kasi wala naman talagang plano eh. Except shutdown, tapos bukas ulit, tapos wala. In other words, wala silang, I'm talking about itong mga economic managers natin, no? Sabi lang nila, buksan ulit yung ekonomiya as if that will solve everybody's problems. Parang dating gawin. So, but this recent spike of the gas prices going up very high, and lalo na with the geopolitical situation, where do you think and what should be done immediately besides what we've been saying for the past, decade or so? Lalo na now, any new leadership, let's say, whether it be through elections or otherwise, what must they do to mitigate this, to protect our citizens from this?
We're going to have an energy crisis. There's no doubt about that. No, and the price of oil will continue to go up. We don't know exactly how far up it will go, but it will continue to go up, and it will be very prohibitive for us to function. Sa akin, it is not the transportation sector that I am worried about when the cost of oil goes up. It is the manufacturing sector and the business sector that will suffer here, because they may not be able to sustain the high cost of energy and will not be able to produce what is needed by the populations. So immediately, dapat ang papasukan natin is a immediate energy source. Yung nuclear energy, maganda yan, pero alam natin, maski na pabuksan natin yung BNPP ngayon, it will take about 18 months at the fastest to be on stream. 1.5 years. Now, you put up coal plants, it will take you maybe 2 to 3 years to put up a coal plant to the energy crisis. I would advocate going into renting, leasing, floating nuclear power plants. These are nuclear plants that are on barges. We can lease them and they are available, and we should be able to get them within 1 year. And so that they will be in place in strategic places of our country. This will provide the power needed by businesses and by our agriculture. Because agriculture, many people don't realize it, needs tremendous amount of energy through the irrigation process. And other areas where businesses go into processing of agricultural products. Even rice plants, rice millings, no, and all that, they all need power. Not all rice mills can burn their husks to provide the power to meet their demand. No? The bigger rice mills need a lot of power. We must provide that. And the best way that I can think of to see to it that we can at least alleviate the shortage of energy is to go right now into leasing agreements of different countries. And it is very easy for these countries to put a nuclear power plant on barges. These are small ones. These are only maybe 50 to 100 megawatts. Malaki na yung 200 megawatts. Pero kung meron kang 5 o 7 ganyan, no? Naka strategically moored in different parts of our country, ang laki-laking bagay nito. No? Yun ang iniisip ko for our expected inflation on fuel. The other thing is, well, we have been able to show the technology of producing diesel. Diesel can be produced from plastics. It can be produced from coconut. It can be produced from tires. Yung mga gulong ng kotse at mga truck. May proseso yan na pag linuto itong mga ito, magpuproduce siya ng diesel. Now, napakarami nito. Kung ang ating mga inhinyero ay magaling, simple lang po gumawa ng modelo nito para makapag-produce every city, every municipality ng diesel. No? And right now, merong ganyan saan ba yun? Sa Montalban. Alam ko, they've been operating for about 3 years. Tahimik lang sila. Tahimik sila dahil ayaw nilang malaman ang kanilang proseso. Napakasimple. Yung proseso nila, sinasabi nila, inimbento daw nila. Hindi totoo yan. Pumunta kayo sa Google, makikita nyo ang mga paraan kung paano gumawa ng diesel fuel. Ginagamit ito sa mga motorsiklo, sa mga pedicabs, at pwede rin gamitin sa mga traktora at mga generator. Ito po ang mga kaya natin gawin. At hindi ko alam bakit ang ating pamahalaan, yung DOST, hanggang ngayon, hindi pumapasok sa ganyan. Pero what happens around the world dito is something that we cannot prepare for in terms of the inflation. But we can start producing ourselves. We can start preparing. For example, if we have floating barges, nuclear power plants, we can also construct desalination plants beside these floating barges. And these desalination plants are going to produce fresh water. And fresh water that can be distributed all over, let us say, Central Luzon and different parts of the country, Mindanao. Gagawa ka ng mga parang tributaries para yung fresh water iikot, tataas ang production mo ng agriculture. No? Very important ito, and it is a quick source of energy at magagawa natin kung tama ang pag-iisip ng tao. Yeah.
Yeah, so because it doesn't seem that we are actually in government is actually in a very urgent mode, which they should be. Instead nga, sabi mo nga, nandun sila sa election, nakafocus. And it seems that even this adjustment of our situation with regards to COVID, parang ang bagal nila mag-react. Ito nga sa mundo, tinatanggal na lahat ng mandates, tinatanggal na lahat ng requirements kasi lumalaban na yung mga citizens nila. Dito, parang tila, may nabasa nga ako kanina na yung si Dr. Herbosa, yung advisor sa IATF, sabi niya, 4th booster na daw is recommended.
4th booster?
Oh, 4th shot. Kumbaga 2nd booster shot na. Lalo na pag mga elderly, bigyan na daw. It's recommended daw kasi baka magkasakit sila. Parang hindi nagbabasa ng mga case study and all of this data that is coming out in the world. So, it seems, hindi ko alam pero parang lumalabas clueless talaga yung mga tao sa gobyerno ngayon. As usual, hindi nila alam kung ano yung prioridad nila coming into the next few months. Kasi sabi nila siguro, election na naman may bago na tayong presidente. So, why worry about it? Parang ganon sila mag-isip. And it's very unfortunate because it seems like they have just another mandate. Parang nag-give up na sila in that sense. So, hindi ko po alam but it seems very unlikely. Lalo na pag tumaas yung gas prices, apektado lahat ng bilihin, the basic necessities, and of course the impact will be hardest on our poorest citizens.
Talagang the future is bleak, and if you've got poor leadership or incompetent leadership, things can get worse. If you have at least good leadership, things might be bad, but at least there's hope for it to be better. Now, kanina, isa pang nakalimutan ko sabihin, dahil dito sa sitwasyon na ito, tingnan nyo, iniipit nila yung Russia, na hindi na makapag ano yung mga bangko nila, no? Parang merong sanctions yung mga banks ng Russia, pati na yung mga pondo nila. They will force Russia and China to start a new financial order. And that would probably include India. A new financial order will only work if the economies that are backing up one currency is actually a producing economy. If the economy is not a producing economy, just like the United States, no one will want to tie up with the United States in a new financial order. Why? Because the US, which backs up the US dollar, is no longer a producing economy. It's still it is a military power, but its economy is deteriorating very fast. They're not producing for their people anymore. Now, what will happen if you are not a producing economy? What kind of currency can you generate which is not backed up by your production? Well, you can use the Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. Kaya tawag dyan cryptocurrency kasi walang sinasandalan na goods. Dati, ang US dollar was the most productive economy in the world dahil sila yung nanalo dun sa gera at ang ekonomiya lang ng Amerika ang malakas ang production. Kanya yung US dollar sinandalan ng mga iba-ibang mga bansa. Now, it is no longer in that position. China, Russia, because of its oil, and India are the ones known to be producing economies. Now, I believe that if they get together and start what they call a new financial order, so much so that it will shift the rest of the world, no? Who are heavily indebted with US dollar, no? If they can find a way how to take over that kind of indebtedness, no? These three countries can start a new economic order, all along the principles that Mr. Lyndon LaRouche has enunciated. It would have been good if the US was part of them. But at this point, it doesn't seem likely. But can it still be done? Yes. Will it be done? Well, they can try. But this is the question that we don't want to hear. Will the US allow that change in the system without going to war? We don't know. But I believe that if we go to that new system, the world will be moved towards peace. It will be moved towards infrastructure development led by the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. I hope other people understood.
Right. But given what you're saying, Chairman, this means that the whole Western banking system, although we've been saying it's essentially on paper, they're already bankrupt anyway,
Yeah.
right? These guys, the whole Western banking system, lalo na after World War II, they're going to go bankrupt.
Well,
Meaning they're going to have to taken off the books.
well, this is the thing. What will go bankrupt are the financial institutions, the banks. But the countries do not have to do that. They can shift. They can shift. The countries made up of people, and they can shift towards production. They do not have to pay the debts. There will be a moratorium on payment of debts. These countries, Western banks, these financial oligarchs will not be able to collect the debts because they will be declared to be, the system will be declared as bankrupt. So when you declare a system to be bankrupt, who are you going to collect debt from? And so, but a new system in its place is going to be put up. And if it's a new system, more countries will join. And that way, it will start moving again. Pero etong mga nalugi, katulad ng mga bangko, yung mga financial oligarchs, who's gonna save them? No one, because their money is now of no value.
It takes what you're saying is it takes a sovereign nation states and their peoples to declare that this system is bankrupt. Because yung mga oligarchs, they will fight to retain it till the last breath. Right?
Yeah, but if the political leadership does that and says this is the new system, much the same way the Bretton Woods system was put up, it can be done. It can be done. And we have now a very productive economy, which is China. And not only is it China, there are other countries that might be in a position to pull their productivity together as a basis for a new currency to be issued.
Right. But it also, it will free up a lot of these nations that have gone into debt, heavy burden debt, and their peoples. It will free up for them to go back into production and back into manufacturing.
Correct. Katulad natin ito, Yung sinasabi natin utang, except for this last year or so, it's not really our utang, Because, alam mo ginagawa nila, dinidevalue nila yung currency natin para lalaki yung utang natin, kasi hindi natin mabayaran yung annual o quarterly payments. Yung hindi natin mabayaran, dinadagdag nila sa principal. No? Dahil hirap ang ekonomiya mo, hindi mo mabayaran, dadagdag nila sa principal. Tapos tataas yung debt servicing mo. No? Yun ang ginagawa nila. Pagkatapos yung ginawa ng mga henyo dito mga ano pangalan itong mga ito, mga econoquacks natin. Yung foreign debt natin, they converted it into a domestic debt. No? Ang pinagbayad nila ng utang natin na dollar ay bonds ng Philippine peso. No? So, ang kala natin, bumaba ang utang natin sa dollar. Pero umakyat naman ang utang natin sa peso. So, pag suma total mo nung lahat ng utang mo, tumaas pa rin. No? Kasi sabi nila, mas madaling bayaran yung peso debt. Bakit mas madaling bayaran? Emprenta mo lang yan eh. No? Pag nag-emprenta ka, may inflation ka. Siyempre, mag-aano ka. Pero nababayaran mo yung debt mo. Ganyan nila minamanage ang ating ekonomiya. But it has nothing to do with future growth. No? It's just a manipulation. Parang kiting. No? Walang nangyayari na mahusay para sa ekonomiya mo. Except that, minamanage mo lang yung inflation mo.
All right. Announcement lang, yung mga we've had problems with Facebook tonight. Our live stream on Facebook medyo nag-freeze at nakakat. So, but our YouTube channel po is up and running and doing well. So, please lipat kayo sa YouTube kung pwede. Yung Facebook po parating medyo mabagal yung Facebook ngayon. So now we will go to our questions. We have about 10 minutes left before 9 o'clock. And we try to read all the questions we can tonight para to give everybody a chance to say. So we are live on RMN radio also. So hi to all our special friends there at RMN. Okay, Carlo Iway, good evening. Gay Hinoo, happy Sunday po. I'm not voting for president, but I also do not want to let this election pass without electing a president that has both competence and character. Kaso lang, wala talaga mapili sa kanila. 6 years is too long to wait. Agree. Matt Dusain, good evening to you, Prof. Butch and Bro Itos. What happened to General Parlade? Was he disqualified? Prof. Butch, you need to be an advisor to President BBM Sara 2022 admin. Your country needs you. I love Putin 100%. In the last 15 years, he has done so much for Russia. $20 million given by George Soros and Omidyar to Rappler prior to MOA signing of Comelec and crappy Rappler. Wow, is that true? Bill Gates and company, World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, Fauci, Biden, Harris, Obama, Clintons, etc. must be prosecuted and jailed. No parole for vax mandates. Correct. Cancel the New World Order. Cancel One World Government. Cancel Bill Gates. Cancel World Economic Forum. Lenny Robredo actually campaigned a few days ago at Novaliches Catholic Church with many priests. The church was filled with election posters and paraphernalia. Gross. Oo nga, nakita po natin yan. Parang hindi natin natago, bastusan na. Cesar Soberano, good evening, Sir Butch Itos, mabuhay ang KDP, Katipong PJ, good evening, Chairman Butch Valdes, Katipong Itos Valdes. Connie Gomez Valdes, also the vaccines have expired and Duque is saying they can extend the expiration date. Pinaglaruan yung buhay ng tao talaga itong mga to. Luis Gerald, good evening po. Don't forget, Reynaldo Santos Jr. is a researcher, writer of Rappler, is also convicted. Vera Files of Miss Ellen Tordesillas is also part of the propaganda of the CIA, correct? Soros is the one who funds news like journalism schools, International Fact-Checking Network, especially Poynter Institute of Media Studies and International Center for Journalists. Yes. Yan ang propaganda army. Jacqueline Villaruz, propaganda, walang gera, it's all posturing. Negotiations are now ongoing. Who will budge? They're all in it. Ang gera na to ay diversion sa genocide sa bakuna para mapalihis, di mapanagot ng mga globalista. Bakit ngayon lang umeksena si Putin? Pwede niyang gawin yun 2 years ago, pero bakit ngayon lang? Isa dyan ay di mapanagot ang China sa scam ng pandemya. Putin, Trump, Xi, Biden ay under ng mga globalista. Ito lang ay isang laro nila. Huwag niyong kalimutan ang genocide sa bakuna. Nililihis tayo ng globalista. Ito dapat pag-usapan. Basic tricks throughout history and diversion. Well, obviously we disagree with that comment. No? Ronald Nanoy. Good evening, Sir Butch and Sir Itos. Mabuhay ang KDP watching from Santo Tomas, Batangas. Riza. Sa inyo po palagay, wala kayang kakayanan si BBM para pamunuan ang ating bansa? Chairman, you wanna take that?
Wala.
Wala. Simple. Jinky Bill. No, our true friends and enemies. Watching from Germany. Aware at isa po sa may alam dito sa Europa ang katotohanan. Kaya natutuwa akong nakikinig sa inyo na kapwa Pilipino na may alam din ang katotohanan kahit andyan kayo sa Pilipinas. Thank you. Freddy Oredina, present. Meron siyang link. Nice interview with Lakay Gonzalo this morning. In my humble opinion, there is no bobotante. It's not our votes that count. It is who counts the votes. Sinisisi sa atin ang paghihirap natin dahil ibinoto natin. Actually, greedy oligarchs ang pipili na pipiliin natin na pinili ng Pumulek. What happened to Lieutenant General Parlade? Blank ang President VP sa balota to show them our disgust. Boycott, say 50% voted, 20% 1 out of 50% voters. That will be 10%. Was it considered a failure of election? Okay, next. Boyet Periarabas. Magandang gabi po mga katipon. Maging aral sana sa mga amboy at nangyayari sa Ukraine. Iniwan sa ere ng mga puti. Nagpakatuta kasi sa kano watching from Subic. Ernie Ocampo, good evening po Sir Chairman Butch Valdes and Sir Itos Valdes. Thanks for the added knowledge for us. Rog Almazor, good evening po Sir Butch Valdes, Sir Itos Valdes. Mabuhay ang KDP from Tanza, Cavite. Macfios the 13, mga demonyo mga yang Western kasi Russia at China na lang ang sagabal sa kanilang plano. Lourdes Calc, good evening Professor Butch, Sir Itos. Pasensya na po, wala ako napanood ng live po uli sa inyo. But always ko pinanood sa replay para. Best regards, Sir RJ and Prof. Toti po from Accra. Tony Cruz, revealed na po kasi na nasa USA ang may pakana ng One World Policy. Kachi Park Minho, the winner of this year's war is the U.S. military-industrial complex defense stock in the U.S. soars to $69 billion. Yes, I know George Soros, tanga nga po eh. Alam na lalabas kung sino mananalo eh. Yep. Magandang Benjamin Gutierrez, gandang gabi Sir Butch, Itos, mabuhay po kayo. Han Masaki, Jacqueline. Operation Mockingbird sa maraming mainstream media kaya maraming kalituhan. Correct. Gene Sarmiento, Prof. Valdes, bakit po kayo BBM Sara? Are you for BBM Sara? Hindi po kami BBM Sara po.
Wala po akong kinikilingan na mga tumatakbo ngayon. I am actually rejecting all of the presidentiables. I don't believe any of them are capable of leading this country. I've already mentioned, I'm so disappointed that General Antonio Parlade was not allowed to run by the COMELEC. The COMELEC that was a travesty of justice. The COMELEC completely ignored the petitions of General Antonio Parlade, and they did not even have the courtesy of sending him a resolution made by the commission regarding why they did not allow him to run. No? That's why sabi ko, bastos talaga yung COMELEC na yan. It is as if though Antonio Parlade, who submitted his candidacy for president, it is as if though he did not exist. No? And the media was complicit in seeing to it that he was not interviewed nor given any kind of airtime with regard to his candidacy. No? Yan ang pagbablock nila dito kay Antonio Parlade dahil takot sila yung mga bayaran, yung mga Rappler, yung mga COMELEC at iba pa na mga opisyal ng gobyerno, takot sila na yan ang magiging mamumuno ng Pilipinas. Kanya masakit ang loob ko at pinagdarasal ko na masakit din ang loob ni General Parlade para gumawa siya ng hakbang na kinakailangan para salba niya ang ating bansa.
Okay. Okay, so we will be cut off soon on radio. Thank you to our friends sa RMN, but we will try to finish all the messages. You can catch us on YouTube para matuloy. For our radio listeners, salamat sa pakinig at you can catch us on YouTube. Tutuloy po namin ito hanggang maubos yung messages. Marlimon77, good evening and God bless and protect you, Sir Butch and Itos. Mabuhay ang KDP. Chris Emmanuel, Visitasyon, magandang gabi po, Prof. Butch and Sir Itos, watching from historical landmark of NCR, San Juan City. Unexplainable increase in mortality death rates according to concerned Australian statistician. Yes. Tama, Prof. Butch Valdes, soldiers is pledged to protect the safety and integrity of Filipino people. Tama, soldiers are pledged to protect safety and protection and integrity of the Filipino people. Dahil malamang sa alamang allegedly maaaring nakinabang din siya sa malawakang dayaan. I guess he's talking about President Duterte. Jed 2215, kudos to both of you, Chairman and Ito. Some of the Catholic bishops are on payroll list of the Piglawans and oligarchs. That's why they can't refuse the orders of their bosses. Yeah, seems like it. RSR NLD. I was thinking maybe the conflict in Russia, in Ukraine, is another way of the globalists in the Great Reset. If Russia is a hindrance to their implementing the Great Reset, what do you think, Sir Butch? Hindi siguro katangahan, baka merong involved money, kaya nandyan si Jimenez o COMELEC patalsikin yung Rappler at Jimenez habang meron pang oras. Go Solgen Kalida, we have to fight our soberania in election. Eli Umali, good evening, Sir Butch. Please give us your opinion if and when Ping wins, Isko wins, Lenny wins, Pacquiao wins, or BBM wins. What's your opinion?
I only have one opinion. Our country will be at the worst situation if any one of them wins.
For sure, yeah. Sir Butch, may pag-asa pa kaya mabayaran yung 12 trillion na utang ng Pilipinas? Mas maganda na lang ba kung military junta na lang? Many are now listening to you in San Andres, Bukid, Manila. So there's two things, our debt and if military is the only solution.
Sa akin ngayon, militar talaga ang kinakailangan natin para makibaka sa mamamayang Pilipino para gumawa ng lahat ng hakbang na kinakailangan para palitan ang sitwasyon. Ngayon, kung tinatanong mo tungkol sa utang, lahat ng utang pwede bayaran, no? Pero hindi mo mababayaran ang utang mo kung ang pamamaraan mo ng ekonomiya ay pabagsak. Dapat gagawa ka ng ekonomiya na pampaunlad para habang umuunlad ka, kinakayaran mo din magbayad ng utang. No? At yung utang na yan, kailangan repasuhin natin. Kasi may utang, talagang utang, at may utang ng tawag natin 5-6, yung binapatong-patong na lang sa arithmetic nila, lumalaki na lang yung utang natin. Maski na hindi natin tinatanggap, no? May mga utang tayo na tinanggap natin, no? Pero meron naman na hindi man natin tinanggap. Pero dahil gumawa sila ng paraan para magkaroon ng mas malaking palitan ng peso sa dollar, lumalaki yung utang natin.
Okay. Samuel Chow, garapalan na to. Mama Bear, good AM from Canada. Ayon po kay John Mearsheimer, isang professor sa Chicago University. Fault down ng US ang nangyayari sa Ukraine. Stay safe po. Olf Koyap, tingin na kasi siguro ng mga deep state ang kombinasyon ng COVID vaccines at nuclear bomb radiation sa pupuksa sa sangkatauhan. Amalia Samala, Sir Butch Valdes, ingat po kayo. Thank you for telling the truth. Dong, Pacquiao lang ang ayaw sa vaccine. Juana Magalona, strange how some priests today do not heed the words of Christ. Repeat of history of Jesus, the Pharisees crucified him. Bern Alvern, good evening po, posing, sir. Glenn Buwan, if there is a petition for military intervention, I am willing to sign. Nasaan na yung mga transport organizations? Bakit walang kumikibo ngayon? Sayang, paputol-putol ang broadcast niyo po. Nids Waglison, watching. Simply Anna TV. Thank you, Sir Butch, sa pagpapahayag yung sa loobin tungkol sa ating bansa. Naway patuloy pa po ang iyong lakas. Lourdes Cop, so proud of po ako sa inyo, Prof. Butch, dahil di lang po wisdom at meron ka, kundi sambayanan ng bawat Pilipino. Duque is so ganid at walang puso, dapat itapon sa bunganga ng bulkan from Accra City. Hanap tayong bulkan. Sama kami dyan. Attorney Bangaoil. Baka nakinabang siya sa Smartmatic, referring to Andres Bautista and Duterte. Ang Catholic Church sa Pilipinas ay matagal ng bulwark of corruption. Read again Rizal's No Limitangere at El Filibusterismo. Kasi gusto nila power, hindi spiritual enlightenment. Suggestion lang po, Chairman Valdes, attract more viewers by discussing current issues muna. Then, pag may significant following na, you go into in-depth na sa naming makinabang. Thank you for your suggestion. Dark Knight, Duterte, Bobong Duterte, pare, sinamba si Lenny. Oo nga. Simply Ana TV, nakalungkot po yung simbahan natin gawin lugar for campaign. Same thought, Sir Itos. Carlos Jomar Lim, Nabuhay Katipunan Demokratiko. Matt Dusaint, too late PRRD for not signing it earlier. Bataan nuclear plant will be snowballed again by the yellow tards and big corporations, as usual. I love Putin. Professor Butch, lipat na lang kayo sa SMNI for strong live video signal. Canada is lost to the New World Order. Trudeau cracked down on Truckers' Freedom Convoy and froze bank accounts. Who donated their cause to hashtag no vaccine mandates? Ace Rodavlas. Changeable mind and double talk si P. Dutz at ganun din si Inday. Gloria Bertin Bondok, good evening po. Maylin ko, walang makakaresolba kundi revolution para reset lahat. Tins Ramboy, good evening po. Jerry Chua, mga millennials, di nila alam ang danger and sino ang real enemies. Red Ruby, Dark Knight, baka naman kaya lang matapang hindi mo kaharap si PRRD. Pumunta ka sa Malacanang at dun mo siya sabihan ng bobo. Arnold Castor, meron pa putol-putol lang sa DCXL pati sa FB at YouTube. True family, our country has been destroyed. Maraming walang alam, kundi bisyo at matulog. Marlimon 77, either mga incompetent na nasa gobyerno or they are part of the evil agenda. Napoleon de la Victoria, so Ao Garcia, good evening po sa inyo. Zenea Arcilia, good evening po Sir Butch and Prof Butch and Sir Itas. God bless you to all the viewers here. Keep safe. Mel Elizalde, good evening po. Napaganda mo yung mga kaisipan para sa sambayanan. Bakit di po pinapansin ng ating pamahalaan? Wala po silang malasakit sa bayan. Sana po ay magkaroon po ng pagkakataon na maging bahagi sa pagpapalakad ng ating bayan. God bless po. All right, those are all the messages we have for tonight, Chairman.
Yes. Okay, maraming salamat po at sinamahan nyo kami ngayon dito po sa ating Katipunan. At
yung extra natin. Sa ngalan po ng mga kaibigan natin sa RMN DZXL, RMN News Network at sa magigiting na staff and crew ng ating Katipunan, sila Bear, Kathy, and lahat.
At kami po ay pansamantalang nagpapaalam at nagpapasalamat na sinamahan nyo kami ngayon ng Ora de Peligro ng ating bayan at ng buong mundo dito po sa ating Katipunan. Hanggang sa linggo pong muli, mga Katipon, 7 to 9 p.m. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.